All right. Welcome to Tribulation 515, 2011. Welcome to the new digs. Today is Friday, September 7th, 2012. Want to welcome any new viewers to the channel and to all my existing viewers and watchers, Tribulation fellow tribbers. It's been a while. It's actually been almost 2 weeks since my last video blog. So, the bad news is the world continues to spiral down into chaos. One reason it has kind of taken me a little bit to get another video out is because here in San Jose, California, I actually changed my living arrangements. So to make a long story short, I basically had to reduce my footprint by about half. So I had to take all the stuff that was in my room and basically say I'm going to get rid of half of it. But my little studio spot that I'd been using, with my computer, all that, I had to rearrange everything. And so I have my new bedroom now, and this is my new setup. You probably can't even tell the difference from the old setup, but what I would tell you is it is slightly different. The lighting, the desk, everything. So, but I'm liking it. It's working. But it kind of ties into the tribulation, because it's been like 2 or 3 weeks of me moving out of my one room into a smaller room, having to reduce my footprint in half. And my friends, that's kind of part of the tribulation, that I am witnessing, my personal witness and testimony to the tribulation unfolding in front of me. Is, the world has over 7 billion people. And the reality is, that's 7 billion times 2, because there's 2 feet. So it's 14 billion footprints on the earth, And, it's part of the doom and gloom portion of it all, but a lot of things point to the fact that as human beings, a lot of our footprints are going to be reduced, if not eliminated, from the face of the planet in the next couple of months, and definitely the next year. And, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but, I'm just trying to also be realistic. So I'm going to put a link to this video down in the text area that's to an article about how the world is going to be facing massive famine and food shortages, and that food prices are already starting to escalate. Now, I've already talked about this on the Tribulation blog, but guess what? It's all happening. And, throw in the fact that gas is getting more expensive, too. Here in California, I'm paying $4.50 for a gallon of diesel. So the reality is our footprints, keep getting smaller and smaller, at least for some of us, And, whether it's natural disasters, disease and pestilence, I was looking at a video that a buddy of mine, Stoney, put up where he showed they had some website. I'll see if I can find it and link it in, but it was a website that led to a graphic that showed all the disease and pestilence that's breaking out around the world. Now, we already know that there's like bonkers, crazy weather, hurricanes, volcanoes, earthquakes everywhere. They're just everywhere at this point. The whole earth is just shaking. And, we're headed towards the 1-year anniversary of when I planted the stake, saying, okay, we're in the, the tribulation. So September 30th marks the 1-year anniversary of that. September 30th, 2012. And there's a celestial event happening, just like there was last year. Like everybody was looking at the constellation Virgo. And, I'm trying to think, it might have been Venus coming out of Virgo. Or, I'll have to go back and check. But this year, it's Mercury coming out of Virgo and Saturn sitting right there in front of it as it comes out. So some people, once again, are looking at Revelations 12, and is this prophecy fulfillment? But I can guarantee you, my friends, things are in motion, without a doubt. Just, if you have your eyes open and you're not, living in a bubble, a hedged in existence, if you've taken a step back and can see the forest through the trees, globally, the big picture, things are not looking good. Now, of course, as we sit here today, Friday the 7th, here in San Jose, we've been having just weird weather. We had a thunderstorm a couple days ago where 3 big claps of thunder, ba-boom, 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 went off, and then that was it. But the weather's been kind of colder, if you ask me. A little weird, a little off for here in San Jose. But around the world, we've had the hurricane down in the Gulf, Isaac, the son of Abraham. Now we got Michael out in the middle of the ocean, and Leslie, that's coming up, that's going to hit the East Coast. And, we still got a drought in America despite all the hurricanes hitting, so our food crops for next year are decimated, and then around the world, the situation is just horrific. There's millions and millions and millions of people that are going to be, hungry and or starving for food, so we're headed into this apocalyptic, situation going into 2013. But there is some good news. Over on Operation End Times, I'm going to talk about some stuff, because I'm going to try and get totally focused on the bright side of life, like how where's the light in the darkness, the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm going to try and address that. But, here on Tribulation, we just got done with the Republican and the Democrat national conventions. I really didn't watch much of any of it because I've had enough, and, to be quite honest, I probably would vote for Mitt Romney over Obama, even though I don't know if I'm going to vote at this point, because I'm thinking the best thing to do might be to not vote, because I don't think it matters, My nephew posted on Facebook where he was saying, hey, he didn't like either guy, Romney or Obama, and neither of them are going to fix what's coming or what's happening, So I was telling my nephew today, I said, there's so many people, God bless y'all. God bless y'all. I totally respect where you come from, but I have so many people where they're just like, you have to vote, and like this girl today responded to my nephew. She said, even if you don't vote for anybody, just go down there and vote for nobody, but at least you voted. Like you've done your duty. It's a good thing. And I'm just thinking, man, what kind of retarded, stupid logic is that? Just even if you vote for nobody, vote. Believe me, I don't even know what to say. That's somebody living in a bubble or a hedged in existence. That's like somebody that goes to church on Sundays and sits in the pew and thinks, hey, everything's hunky-dory between me and God because I'm here sitting at church doing my thing. But see, that's the difference. The truth is, just pulling a lever and voting doesn't really accomplish anything, and going to church doesn't necessarily accomplish anything if your mind and your heart, and even if reality isn't, working with what you're doing. So, I don't know what the solution is, but I do believe the system is broken in America. I believe our country's headed into the abyss of a lot of things, the abyss of uncertainty, the abyss of global war because we're weaker than we've ever been, the abyss of economic uncertainty. The economics are still disastrous. The Eurozone is still a big old mess. And, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That's the world we live in, so... there's not much you can do. Like voting is, if we say, hey, the old world or the old system, the world we live in, the picture that we all painted, if we say that's broken, like it doesn't work, voting is just voting to keep that in place. True change is doing something beyond voting. I'm voting for God. That's what I'm doing. I'm voting for Jesus Christ. He's the guy that's going to change the world. He's the truth, the way, and the life. But voting for Obama or Romney, I don't know that it makes a difference. I told my nephew, I go, I don't think it's, you get just as much change voting for who's going to be the next American Idol, because at least they'll go out and have some impact on the economy and provide some entertainment, But I hope that's maybe what presidents do. We sit there and we say, oh, maybe they'll have some impact on the economy and provide some entertainment, So once again, what's the difference, And guess what? I don't vote for American Idol, so why should I be voting for president, So I'm just going to vote for God. And, I think that's going to be part of the change. And I'll talk about that over at Operation End Times, because, we keep electing people. Some people are good, a lot of people are not good. But, we need to have a system where somehow the people that get elected, put into high office, are of the highest caliber and operate at the highest levels of honesty, that the moral high bar is high, Whereas nowadays, the moral high bar is as low as you can go. If you got a pulse, you could hold office, So the whole election process, where we keep electing people to high offices that have low moral bars, man, and then we wonder why the system's all broke and nothing works and that crime and corruption is rampant, Hello, McFly, So true change, might be a brand new system, I'm voting for God, I'm working for God, the kingdom of God is going to manifest itself. That's the system I want to support, where there's no separation of church and state. But you know what? I'm not for the church running anything, I'm just for God running everything, God's kingdom, where God is my ruler, God is my king, Because if Jesus was king, and Jesus is king, he's King of Kings. If you don't realize that, then, you got your head in the sand, you're leading a hedged-in existence, or you're in denial, But, Jesus is all about love and sharing and charity and compassion and all the things that make the world wonderful, where love rules. Whereas if you look at this big, nasty world we're living in, a lot of people walking around saying they believe in Jesus, and, there's lots of faithful out there. But, the world is turning quite dark lately. If you look at the countries, like Syria, where they're still massacring their citizens, and countries where we're letting whole populations of people either be genocide or die of starvation, I can't sit there and say, oh, that's a great system. That's a great world, But, with God in charge, God's kingdom, I think that's what is the big change we need, man, where, everybody's fed, everybody is healthy. Only God's going to get us there. But anyway, those of you that want to go out and vote November 2nd, I say more power to you and God bless you, because it is your right. I would never deny that of you. I'm going to still put my money on the fact that there probably won't be a next election, because something's still going to happen. September 30th, we got 2 months to go. With the sun's activity and the earthquakes and all that crazy stuff, we're just bound to hit some kind of a major catastrophic something or other, or just event or whatever, collapse of the economy, just like it was in 2008, where Bush walked out right before the election and said, hey, man, things are messed up. That'll be our beloved president, Barack Obama. I pray for him all the time, But he's as clueless as Romney, and, there's all sorts of other things that are people pushing the buttons of how reality works, And it's not good, my friends, because the elites, people that are not elected, want to rule the world. I like the idea of God electing, the elect, the chosen, I'm going to touch on that on Operation End Times. But, God can see into your heart, whereas the people we elect, they could be bamboozling and lying to us, saying, oh yeah, I'm a good guy. And the minute they get into office, they're not a good guy. But, when God selects people, he not only can see what's in their heart, but if they get into office and they all of a sudden fall away, God's right there to say, you know what, you're gone. Instant impeachment. That's what happens when God's running the show. Whereas what we know is when man's running the show, you can't even get impeached. You can't get found guilty for nothing. Justice does not exist, but justice will exist. It has to. All right. Hey, there's a Tribulation 515, 2011. I probably went a little longer than I should have. But, everybody hang on to your hats, man, because there's all sorts of crazy stuff coming. We got the debates in the elections, elections in and of themselves create its own level of craziness. But it was kind of crazy how the Democrats took Jerusalem and God out of their platform, and they had a big vote, at their convention, and 3 times, the people, when they said, "Do you want God in the platform?" all the people were like, "No!" And a couple of people were like, "Yeah." And, they ended up putting God in the platform. But you got to say, are they just going to church on Sundays and sitting in a pew, Are they just going into a booth and pulling a lever? Yelling, "Yeah, I believe in God," but you don't really believe in God? Like the people actually yelling, "No, get God out of there." They're the ones that actually believe in what they're saying. They're like, "We don't want God. We don't believe in God at all." It's sad. It's sad, man. It's sad. Man, people, wake up. All right, God bless everybody out there. The tribulation continues. Amazing things are coming our way, my friends. All right, God bless everybody.